Today is Wednesday, the 10th of December 2025, and this is papertrail.com, a daily streaming all about governance, risk, and compliance in the UK for SME and mid-market firms. And today is the day we introduce the relief valve. And what we mean with this is if you followed our streaming from Monday, we explore what is all around the culture in terms of compliance. Yesterday, Tuesday, we unpacked what are the expectations. And today, we make those expectations manageable by replacing scattered frameworks with a single organized, structured. And because here's the truth, teams do not drown because compliance is complicated. Teams drown because every framework appears to be unique. And when in reality, most of the frameworks ask for the same outcomes in slightly different words. And we're going to see an example today. So today is an attempt to fix this and a solution. So the three most common problems in these situations is, and I'm going to mention only two frameworks today. Number one is the Information Commissioner's Office. They have a guidance that highlights that organizations must maintain consistent documentation and evidence to support accountability. Yet, frameworks often use different terms for similar expectations. So that's leading teams to recreate the same artifacts multiple times. And here is a clue: artifacts. What is an artifact? And you will say, well, frameworks, but what is an artifact? Well, an artifact is a concrete piece of evidence you produce during supplier due diligence. And here's another clue: artifact, evidence, proof are pretty much the same thing, named a different way. Ones we are more familiar with, or they are more technical: artifacts, but it's evidence, it's proof. Problem number two is other framework. The Health and Safety Executive's approach to structured management systems shows how fragmentation leads to duplicated controls and inconsistent implementation. And the same patterns appears when compliance work is scattered across multiple frameworks. So what that means, that actually the teams are confused what I have to do and what it looks like good or bad, or I'm right, I'm wrong, doing whatever I am doing, right? So all these meaningful, wonderful wording about approach to structured management system, which means not necessarily software, it means the steps. And a structured management system also can be a steps, a process, how we do things. So say step one, go to the file. Step two, open the folder ABCD. Number three, go to page whatever. Number four, attach the proof there. So that is a system too. It's not necessarily software. So when you talk about structured management system, it's not necessarily software. And that's another confusion. Problem number three, many studies of internal analysis of companies shows that frameworks frequently overlap by 60 to 70% without consolidation. And that makes the teams repeat tasks because they cannot see the shared underlying obligation, right? So they cannot see what they have to do. That's the obligation. Consolidation means actually you put different things that are exactly the same. And give you an example here. A certificate is a certificate, but different frameworks might ask for the same thing. But if the certificate is sitting only in the HR or in the operations director office or in somebody's folder somewhere, or somebody knows that have that certificate in an email somewhere, that will start to create a lot of friction, tension, because the people need to find that particular certificate at one point in time, and create a massive problem. And so you can imagine that actually, if you have 5 sat navs or Google Maps in your dashboard when you're driving, and each one of them give different direction to the same destination by using different routes and wording. So for some will say ETA, and I don't know if you're familiar with this, and this is an example, by the way. So ETA to get from A to B. ETA this route, 1 minute less, 1 minute more. What ETA means, your function there is to get to destination without any accidents and all the passengers safe. So everybody in the car safe, or the van, or the car, or whatever is the case. is not to try to figure it out what ETA means. And this is a silly example, by the way, but if you can imagine this across 16 different frameworks that actually happen to be compliant requirements in the UK, but any SME and mid-market firms if you're in scope, plus if you have ISOs, plus ESG, plus SRS, plus PECR. So you see, everyone have a different wording. So you start to find that you're going to slow down, hesitate more, and repeat step you already completed or are somewhere else in your own organization. So what are simple ways to solve this duplicate work? Number one, align framework to share themes. So again, the Information Commission's Office accountability model already encourage mapping obligations to clear categories. Extending this across all frameworks eliminates the need for repeated interpretation. Solution number two, build one structure. The Health and Safety Executive, they have a guidance on consistent system shows that when processes follow the same map, teams understand what to do and reuse work rather than duplicate it, right? And solution number three, avoid this trap, attach evidence once. So if you have for example, the certificates that we mentioned, if you have a certificate for whichever thing you need certificate, make sure that you have a single repository with owners and actually accesses are allowed by the different teams according to their level of authorizations, or an owner that can distribute this certificate to everybody according to their requirements. So when a policy, a log, a control, or a metric sits under a single theme, it serves every framework that reference to it. That's removing duplication, training logs, risk assessment, and reviews, and you name it. So this is very difficult for organizations in the SME space, and they have a lot of advisors, consultants, or they outsource these activities. But probably there is a test today to do for you if you want to make sure that actually your organization is quite healthy in having a map and a framework alignment from different repositories of information. Choose one control today, a training, a risk assessment, an incident log, whatever, and map every framework that reference to it that you are in scope and you are required to comply with. You'll immediately see where duplications lives. If you cannot make this visible in 10 minutes or less, you may need to consider an alternative solution because you have a problem there. This is something that should be right away. It should be fast, reliable, and easy to do. That's why we built our software from the ground up. It's called Papertrail. So if you want a single structure that turns several overlapping frameworks into one clear workflow, so join our Papertrail waitlist, and we'll build your consolidation map for you. That's part of the beauty of what we build. And all these that demonstrate the risk and also produce the evidence in one simple repository, which means that, remember that evidence is a single, most defensible position that you have in front of an audit, notifications, notes, in reports, or whatever is the case. So you can stop activities that increase workload, but add no value to your organization. So it just increasing your costs and labor hours and expenses in just redundant work. So this is perfect for UK SMEs and mid-market firms because you use the same control library for health and safety, GDPR, DVCA, Cyber Essentials, EPR. So it's not double entry, reducing your overlap by 60% and your costs by 80%. So it's all in one place again. It's a continuous gap analysis, so it's a clear view what's done, what is missing, and who owns or who is accountable, who is responsible to fix things before assurance, inspections, reports, or audits hits you. So you can do it once, do it properly, and move on to the things that are more important to you, which is avoid this noise. How many routes or ETAs I have to get to a destination safe with my cargo or my passengers or my family, and just focus in the road and driving safely, right? So join the waitlist, papertrail.com, and stay tuned, because tomorrow I'll show you how these clear structures unlocks confident decision-making by grounding everything in risk. And you say, why this? Why grounding everything in risk? Because this is what the big corporations do. They ground everything in risk. So that's why, regardless of the economies, regardless of the social changes, regardless of the technological changes, they still being the big corporation that they are, because they map things around risks. That's the way business already think. And if you translate these lessons from the large corporations into your SME or mid-market company, I can assure you that this is going to really help you to grow and be more profitable and thrive in times, to be more sustainable. Sustainability is not about going greener, or it's also about to continue in time at a profit for many years to come.